Thank you for giving me an opportunity to tell you a little bit about myself today. So who is Nicole Cam? Well, I'm a true Wellingtonian, born and bred. I was born in Lower Hutt to a New Zealand mother and an Austrian father. My father had come to New Zealand with 500 other Austrians back in 1956. Most of them settled around New Zealand, my father in Wellington. He met my mother, they married, and had 3 lovely children. I'm the youngest. We went to a primary school up the road which was full of children with foreign names, such a League of Nations. Names like Govind, Furgis, Medanovic, Leko, Letica, Klusterman and Vaxvender, and many, many more. It's interesting to note that there are 2 friends there, Furgis and Govind, that I'm still very close to. I had a privileged childhood. My father took us skiing every year from age 5. It wasn't uncommon for him to give us skiing lessons and then finding 20 children had joined the trail, thinking he was an Austrian ski instructor because he had a thick accent. He was one to ski in all weathers while we learnt to be tough. But now I'm a fair weather skier, a little older, a little smarter. And I don't find it remotely enjoyable when you can't see or it's really windy. I would prefer to sit in the cafe drinking hot chocolates and staying warm. I also had the pleasure of going to Europe with my parents to meet my grandfather and Austrian relatives in Switzerland when I was 16. I'm so pleased I did that. I went to an Austrian ski school over there, which was fantastic, and took a shine to my ski instructor, Peter. Yeah. He gave me a red rose on Valentine's Day, and I pressed it in my diary to take it home. But my mother made me throw it in the sin bin at customs. I've never forgiven her. I had a goal that when I was 21 I would travel to America. The day after my 21st birthday, a friend and I headed over to the USA for a Kentucky trip and then on to Europe, which included another catch-up with relatives. Once I set a goal, I go for it. On my return, I headed down to Queenstown, where I worked for Hyatt Kingsgate Hotels as a hotel receptionist. I made new friends and we ended up travelling back over to the UK and Europe together. I backpacked around Scandinavia on my own, which was quite frightening, but I met a lot of other Australian and New Zealand women doing the same thing. And we would tend to travel the same route and always end up at the same youth hostels, so you made some lovely friends. Back to New Zealand and off to London, where I temped for Westpac for a couple of years before travelling to Greece and Turkey. I remained in Turkey for a year, living in a place called Selçuk, which is near Ephesus. It's such a beautiful place and very interesting. If you haven't been to Turkey, I would highly recommend it. On my return from overseas, I got married, had a family, and now here I am.
That's quick.
That was done and dusted. My son is nearly 18 and heading off to university next year. How time flies. In a blink of an eye, they've grown up and moving on with their lives. So, what are my interests? Well, snow skiing is in the blood, running when I've got the energy, the gym when I have time, and walking the dog. I love going for beautiful walks around the Hutt River and letting the dog off and watch him frolic. He's a gorgeous beagle about 11 years old, and would you believe it, my son named him Benny. How original is that? Benny the Beagle. So why did I join Rotary? A friend recommended it, thought it would be good for me to mix with new people and make new friends. And I do love meeting new people, and what's so nice about it here is that you meet some people you may not ordinarily meet. Not only for friendship, but I want to do something worthwhile, make a bit of a difference. Even if I don't get to every meeting, I do like to be involved in the fundraising initiatives. And I really did enjoy Dumbo Tennis Day. I worked really hard and I was glad to be part of it. So what of my professional life? Well, I've been in the financial services industry for over 20 years. I've got a graduate diploma in financial planning, and I've had the privilege of being 5 years in the trustee industry, which I found to be most interesting. You deal in death a lot in the trustee industry, however it was a great learning curve. You really have to think outside the square because it can be quite a complex area. I decided to go back to banking, and now I have the privilege of working as a private banker for Westpac. We look after the bank's wealthiest clients. and they've all got their own stories to tell, how they got to be financially successful, and that's what makes my role so interesting. As an authorised advisor, I provide advice to my clients on how they can build their wealth and protect their assets. As a private banker, and in private banking we offer superior service. I can also discuss estate planning matters with you at the same time, and I won't charge you for the privilege. So what of the future? Well, on a personal note, remember those friends, Fergie's and Govan I mentioned earlier? Well, we're planning a trip to Italy next year. What couldn't be better? Travelling with really close friends where your friendship has spanned over 40 years. We know each other's quirks, so I would imagine it's going to be quite an easy way to travel, not to mention a lot of fun. We're all going to pick a place we want to go to. I want to go to Cinque Terre. I've had friends travel there and it looks beautiful. The only time I've been to Italy is on a magic bus driving through it in the middle of the night, and I didn't see a thing. So I've always wanted to go back, and I want to catch up with friends in London. On a professional level, continue on with my work, perhaps a bit more study and be more involved in Rotary. So that's Nicole in a nutshell. Thank you for your time.